red robed suffragettes.
Makes you stop and think. You can use your pots and bangers for applause during this address as practice. And let's try them out right now to let the governor... about his creation of the Vermont Climate Action Commission and his collaboration with the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. Speaker is Sam Peterson, a student at Hanover High School and member of Rise Upper Valley.
Greenhouse gas emissions by 2028. This past year, we were told by Peter and Block that we will not be meeting that goal. That is because there's no enforcement in that policy that cares to put us down or to fight to preserve the one thing that we all share.
And nothing has happened in 25 years of meeting in the UN. It's time for us to give up on that process and start focusing on our communities and within our state, right?
Yeah!
We need to make progress. We need to work where we can be effective, and this is one of the places that we can do that.
Let's do it!
Let's do it. So I have sort of 3 points that I feel I have to keep saying. One is, we're getting better and better at declaring this emergency. Catastrophes right, left, and center in front of us. All solutions all over the place. And one of the ones in our state right now that we're facing is Vermont gas. Shoddy, unbelievably dangerous pipeline through our state, taking people's land. They now have the gall to say that they are going to become carbon neutral. Tell me, how do you make methane carbon neutral? Let's get that ban on fossil fuel infrastructure into the forefront.
Yes.
Let's tell our legislators, we're here, we're watching, we're holding you accountable. 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 We're here.
Also include project labor agreements with union labor and folks being able to get family sustaining benefits and pay during this process. The Green New Deal also must be progressively funded. If we stand together, and if you stand with us in our demand that these be good union jobs that are created out of this project, and if you stand with us when we demand that the funding for such projects be progressive and be not on the backs of working people, then we will stand with you as you fight a good fight for a sustainable, good, economic and environmental future for Vermont and everybody.
United!
Thank you, David.
So my name's Gwendolyn Hall-Smith, and I'm from Extinction Rebellion, Northeast Kingdom, and the Headwaters Garden and Learning Center in Cabot, Vermont, which was modeled after my friend and mentor, Danella Meadows' Cobb Hill in Heartland, and Stephen is the farmer at Cobb Hill, so it's an honor to read that letter. Farmers everywhere are on the front line of climate change. I began farming in the Upper Valley in 1996. As a dairy and vegetable farmer, I've seen my crops and livestock subject to the increasing stressors of a changing climate. We experience more extreme droughts and precipitation events and less predictable growing seasons. New insect and plant diseases are proliferating in our region. We can salute the current legislature for bringing forward climate initiatives such as the TCI and Vermont Green New Deal, but we must point out that their focus on transportation and energy efficiency is short-sighted. For a rural state like Vermont, land management represents a huge opportunity to mitigate and heal the environmental crisis. The agricultural and forestry sectors are crucial to the solution and must be included in any comprehensive legislation addressing climate change. And help save the planet by leveraging the state to pay incentives to land managers who use best practices to sequester carbon, protect air and water quality, reduce pesticide use, and transition from fossil fuels. The dairy sector occupies the majority of agricultural land in the state of Vermont and is by far the most important sector in economic terms. The working landscape is also a major asset of the tourism sector, which is the leading economic driver of our state's economy. Dairy farmers should be given viable options to diversify, reduce the number of cows, and grow crops such as hemp, medicinal and culinary herbs, and commodity foods such as grain and legumes for humans instead of livestock.
Yeah!
The aim of all these incentives should be to reestablish a regional food system. Consumers should be able to buy full diet of food grown within 100 miles of where they live. No more California lettuce coming to us on jet planes, but rather healthy, organic, and bioregionally produced food eaten with the season. gas emissions today, the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere will continue to rise for centuries because of how much has already been absorbed by the oceans. As we slow down emissions, the oceans will release CO2 in a process of equilibration. We must halt emissions, but of equal importance is the restoration of our soil reserves worldwide. The most prevalent greenhouse gas is water vapor. There is a fixed amount of water on this planet. Through 10,000 years of soil degradation, we have desertified half of the planet's terrestrial surface and hugely diminished the soil's capacity to hold water. The only way to safely draw down and cool the planet is to rebuild the soil carbon storage. Building the sponge not only sequesters 3 to 10 tons of carbon per acre, it also naturally cools the environment by stabilizing the Earth's hydrologic systems, by which she has maintained a livable habitat for increasingly complex life forms for 130 million years. Building the sponge creates resilience for our food systems and also mitigates the damage of flooding and drought. It is the single most important task we can undertake to save humanity and all other species from the ravages of abrupt climate disruption. Colleges and NGOs should promote the concept of the soil carbon sponge as a pivotal component to drawdown and restoration of the Earth's natural cooling hydrologic capacities. Teaching the theory and practice of these concepts to all land managers is crucial. The very best way to sequester carbon and establish food security is to promote regenerative farming practices among every society around the globe. If every individual human being in every village, town, municipality, and city on this planet were dedicated to creating more topsoil, through the promotion of small-scale sustainable agriculture, sequester all the carbon we need to cool and heal the environment, provide meaningful employment, and feed all the Earth's people. Agriculture has been part and parcel of the destruction of the natural world, but it doesn't have to be so. Vermonters can lead the way by embracing regenerative, restorative practices. It's really important to emphasize that we're not just talking about farmland and woodlots. Every citizen, everyone here, everyone in that legislature relies on soil, and so every one of us should be incentivized to become caretakers of the land. No piece of land is too small or insignificant to be worthy of reparation and restoration. We need full citizen participation to create food security and restore biodiversity. The key leverage points for a just transition in agriculture are to reward farmers for ecological services.
Yeah!
This isn't only cleaner air, water, and carbon sequestration in the soil, it's the production of nutrient-dense food is an ecological service. Establish price parity for farm products to ensure that every farmer and farm worker can earn a living wage. Institute regional supply management of farm products to keep pricing fair and to prevent industry from forcing out small producers. Divert funds that the state currently pays to subsidize tourism to build worker-owned milk bottling plants, artisanal value-added creameries, distilleries, hemp processing, community food processing centers, and more enterprises tied to local food, fiber, and forest harvest. 5 more leverage points. Institute land reform for resettling of climate refugees, many of whom are farmers, and ensure young farmers have access to arable land. Establish cooperative markets and food marketing hubs. Establish biofuel farms to supply regional needs for transitioning tractors off gas and diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Biofuel farms will serve as energy hubs for each region to supply regional farms with fuel for converted tractors. Only biofuels that can be grown to balance out as carbon neutral will be used. Create incentives for electric tractors. Create incentives for electric tractors to be shared between farms. And Stephen's final point, promote draft animal technology. Draft animal power can play a significant role again on farms, in the forest, and in the local transport of goods and services. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen and Gwen. Next we have Carmen Richardson Skinder, who goes to Montpelier High School and is part of Extinction Rebellion.
That's a big crowd. Thank you.
May I? I will try. Pardon me. Pardon me, sorry. Sorry.
No worries.
allowed in?
So pretty much the House Chambers has a set of rules, and it's the Sergeant of Arms. If he says people can't come in, they can't come in. It's been a rule in the legislature since late 90s.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is, but pretty much if the House Speaker tells the Sergeant of Arms, I don't want this stuff in here, then they can't let that stuff in.
Is it because they're dressed up?
Yeah, so today they put out a few minutes ago if they have costumes or signs on the stick, anything like that. So pretty much they can go in and talk if they want to and voice their opinion, and they can have like a sign that they can hold, but
They can go in and hold a sign,
yeah.
but they can't wear a costume.
Yeah, I don't make the rules. I'm not,
Right. I'm just curious of what the rules are. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.